Hi guys, hope you're all well. Mitch here. So I'm just coming on to do the Sunday Tarot and Oracle Review Day. So today I am going to be introducing to you this beautiful tarot deck. So this is the Sirian Starseed Tarot. Now this is an interesting little deck. This is one that is produced by Patricia, Cori and Alysa, Bartha. And I was just trying to see if it's who it's published by. So it's published by a company called North Atlantic Books. So we've not really come across them too much before, but that's their logo there. So this is a deck that was actually gifted to me by a beautiful friend and fellow medium. And it's a deck that I'm going to be really honest, I don't work with very often. Okay, it's an interesting deck. For all you starseeds out there, you may really connect, you may really love this deck, but for me it's quite a tricky deck to work with. I love some of the visuals and the images, but it's a very complicated deck. But we'll look at it. So on the back, as always, it sort of gives a couple of examples of the kind of cards themselves and a breakdown of how this has kind of been born and come about. A nice strong good box. And then as we look at the book, so nice decent quality book, lots and lots of information in there, which we'll get to a little bit more later on. So I'll put that to one side for now. So the cards themselves then, guys, we've got this absolutely beautiful artwork. So the back of the cards, the artwork is stunning. I love the detail in this. Now, card thickness, stock quality, reasonable. It's fairly thick. I'd say sort of a medium. You know, it's not the thinnest. It's a lovely kind of gloss finish. Now, as you can probably see, guys, there's no getting away from the size of these cards. They are huge. And it's not so much of a problem for me, but if you don't like big cards, you ain't gonna like these, because these are bad boys. You know, these are big. I'm gonna just hold, I've got like one of my traditional Raider-weight cards here, so you can see, look at the difference in size, nearly double the size of the card. So these are, like I say, bad boys, not just in terms of their height, but their width compared to traditional Raider weights. So yeah, that's something to be aware of, but they are pretty cool. They are kind of quite powerful. What I want to say as well, another thing that they've done with this deck, they've changed quite a lot of aspects of it. So instead of it being like the traditional cups, the wands, the swords and pentacles from like the minor arcana, they've changed it to crystals, chalices, orbs and flames. So obviously they've changed the energy a little bit of the minor arcana there, which is not a problem once you get your head around it, but it's just there's an adaptation with this deck as well. So if you're someone that isn't overly familiar with tarot, if you've only recently started out, this might not be the best deck for you because it is quite complicated. But let's have a look at some of the artwork that sort of itself, just to sort of show you the power of the cards. So I'm kind of like in two halves with the energy of the cards. I love the fact that they've got like sort of a name, a word. So here, like Master of Chalices. So again, all the court cards they've changed. So the Master it could be perhaps a king, it could be a page, it could be a knight. I'd have to look up in the book to see what they've replaced it all for, but the court cards have all changed quite a lot. And you've got like here Master of Crystals. So beautiful artwork on some of the cards, but some of them, like this one, the artwork looks quite digital, you know, and I know obviously it is digital artwork, but to me it almost like looks it a little bit. So there's some that I really like, and then there's some cards that I'm just a bit kind of like not really sure about you. So I'm in like two halves with this deck. Like this one to me feels a little bit, I don't know, I'm not sure if I like the artwork or not. I'm a little bit undecided, I think, you know. Like this is an example of one that again looks quite digitally You know, I'm not 100% sure on it, guys. You know, even though it's beautiful and it's a powerful piece in itself, I'm really undecided. So I wouldn't say it's the worst deck I own, or you know, it's not a bad deck, but it's not necessarily one that I would go rushing out to purchase. I mean, it's amazing that this was gifted to me, and I love the fact that's the reason I've kept it, because it was a gift. See, that's beautiful. I love that image. So some are amazingly powerful and look really, really great, but some just look a little bit wishy-washy. So like this one to me looks quite digital again, but maybe I'm just being fussy. I do think I prefer kind of like the more authentic artwork that's been sort of hand produced, but I think that's a personal thing, it's a personal preference. So you might really sort of, you know, gel with the energy of these, and you know, it might not be an issue for you. See, that's powerful reflection. I like that card. That's nice. So they've changed again some of the wording from traditional tarot, so it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So I'm going to show you quite a few of these just so you've got like an idea here. So again, this one to me it's almost like a photograph that's been then morphed digitally. I just don't know, I'm not sure about it, you know. Maybe I'm just being too snobby with the tarot here. I don't know, but like, I don't dislike it. See, that's powerful. That one feels beautiful to me. So some of them I really love and really connect with. And I don't think I necessarily identify with myself as a star seed as such. So it's just interesting, you know. But I want to show you enough of these so you can really get the idea. I mean, obviously Divine Justice, this is a take on the Major Arcana traditional justice card, obviously. Star, so again we're starting to get into some of the Major Arcana. I love that, I love the Egyptian energy of that. That's beautiful, that is powerful. So like I say, I don't dislike the deck, but there are some that I much prefer. It's a very 50-50 sort of deck, I think, this one. Card of Karma there, it's interesting. So they have replaced, like I say, quite a lot of the traditional values of the tarot. So I wouldn't advise, you know, I still get very confused with this deck when I try and read with it and interpretate it, like even now. So it's definitely one that you have to kind of get your head around. It's not really one that I ever use or work with clients. I'll be really honest with you. But it is a beautiful deck in its own right. I mean, Luna is obviously a take of the card of the moon there. You know, that's a beautiful card. So Sage of Chalices there. So the sage might represent the pages, I'm guessing, perhaps. So the Great Wheel, so this is the take on obviously the Wheel of Fortune. So they've tweaked things around quite a bit here. You know, I just want to show you enough. I don't want to show you all of these, but I want to show you enough so you can really sort of see and get an overall idea. Transition, gosh, that's a powerful card, isn't it? You know, some really powerful energies within this deck. Alchemy. So I'm going to show you maybe like one or two more, just so you've got enough that you can look at. The Lovers, oh, that's a nice card. I always love that one in traditional tarot. I'm going to show you literally one more, and then that's going to be it. Because I could literally show you all of them otherwise, and we could be here all night. So what I'm going to do is, so this is something straight away, this feels to me, rather than them being cards, as I'm holding them, they're feeling like, you know when you've got like loads of sort of photographs in your hand, almost like a photograph album, that's the kind of size of a photograph, isn't it, almost? So as I'm shuffling these, you know, these are big, these don't feel nice to shuffle, I'll be honest, because they're so big. This is a deck I almost feel like I want to sort of spread out and then try and pick something from, because I just don't feel very comfortable with this, I'll be honest. So yeah, they're not the most comfortable, and I don't think I've ever said that about a deck being not the most comfortable to shuffle, but these really don't feel that comfortable to shuffle. Oops, right, that one wants to come out. Oh, okay, Divine Justice. So let me just grab that. That's what we had kind of coming out earlier when I sort of showed it to you. So that's the card that's coming up for Sunday and for the week ahead. So let me find that in the book, okay? So what we've got with the book, again, it gives an introduction into how the tarot was born. It talks about what starseed actually energy is, so that's quite handy to have. The structure of the tarot, and then it's kind of got here, this is really good, so it breaks down what they've done and how they've changed everything there. So it sort of says, you know, whereas pentacles are, you know, pentacles in traditional tarot, in this deck they're crystals. Cups in traditional tarot are chalices. Swords in traditional tarot are orbs in this deck, and wands in traditional tarot are flames within this deck in terms of the minor. They also have put physical aspects and elemental energy and spirit energy in there, so that's really interesting. And then there's a brief overview, and then it's literally straight into the cards themselves. So let's just find the card of Justice a sec, or Divine Justice, isn't it? Let's sort of see what that is in here. Okay, here we go. So it's the energy of Divine Justice. So let me read this out to you. So we've got, from the incredible eye of God, the Helix Nebula in the Aquarius constellation, a blindfolded goddess holding the scales of justice emerges from the starry canopy of deep space. Draped in white, she is the now there's some big words in here, I will say, so my dyslexia might get the better of me. She is the quintessential symbol of purity, impartiality, I don't know if I've said that right, and balance. All that to which we aspire when we speak of justice in our courts and legal channels, but which so very often is sadly lacking within these systems. So that's interesting. This key speaks of a higher authority, a divine justice that Starseed embraces as the absolute law of universal righteousness, in which karma holds the balance of all things in perfect order. Through the eye of God, divine justice holds up the scales of all the forces at work in creation, where the laws of cause and effect hold the cosmos in perpetual balance. Although it is imperative at times to mean the resolution of a legal matter or a court-mandated judgment, this key delves far more deeply into the question of what is just. It defines the ultimate authority as the karmic unfolding of the universal forces of all creation. Words associated with this card are truth, justice, karma, fairness, balance, and accountability. It implies that the unfolding of the universe is in absolutely divine hands, emerging from the vision of the Creator, and that nothing can influence the outcome of any given reality but truth. Then it's got here, questions that often emerge from the appearance of this key are the following. Where is the divine justice in this situation? Am I taking responsibility for the outcome of this matter? How do I affect my own circumstance? Where is the real truth in this situation? How am I seeing or not seeing the bigger picture? How do I learn to trust that the universe is unfolding exactly as it should? So, despite the big wording in there that I'm sort of struggling with a bit, I quite like the bulk of that message actually. So it's really interesting to come up for us for Sunday, and on a sort of personal level and for the week ahead really. So it's looking at your physical world and sort of realigning everything if there is injustice around you, and seeing how you choose to respond, how you choose to react to things, to make your world much more comfortable, much more balanced at the end of the day. So I really like this card, and I do actually like the artwork on this card. It's quite beautiful, actually. So that's the message for Sunday and the week ahead, guys. In terms of this deck out of 10, I think I'd give the artwork like probably a, I think I'd give the artwork a 6 or a 7, okay? In terms of the deck itself, I think again, 7 to 8. It's not my favourite deck. It's not one that I would go out of my way to pull and use with customers. It's just a nice one to have in the collection. So it's not bad, but it's not my favourite. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting deck, and it's the artist, by the way. The author of this deck is Patricia, but the artist herself is Alysa Bartha. Okay, and it doesn't say Bertha, it's like Bartha. So make sure I'm sort of saying that right. So an interesting little deck, or a big deck. I wouldn't say little, it's a huge deck, huge, you know. But definitely worth having in the collection if you are an avid tarot collector. I'm going to say if this is your first tarot deck, stay clear of it. I don't think it's going to be a good one for a first deck. I think it's quite complicated. You know, I've been reading tarot for around 7 or 8 years now, and I find this deck quite complicated to negotiate. And there aren't many decks that challenge me, but this is one of them. So yeah, just something to be aware of, but check it out. If you know you're more of a established reader, or if you feel a connection with this deck, then obviously it might be for you. You know, I leave that to personal judgment, but for me, it's a beautiful deck, but I like it more from a collector's point rather than a everyday working with it point, you know. But this is the Sirian Starseed Tarot. So check it out, see what you think. Going to leave the energy of this with you. Stay safe, stay well, much love and blessings. Have a magical Sunday and week ahead, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.